You walk into a dealership, find a car you like, and the salesperson asks, "What kind of monthly payment are you looking for?" It sounds like a normal question. It isn't necessarily a harmless one. If you say, around $500, you've just given the dealership a number they can build the entire deal around. A $500 payment can be created by changing the price, the down payment, the interest rate, the loan length, or some combination of all four. That means you could walk away feeling like you negotiated a great deal because you got the payment you wanted, while still paying far more for the car than you intended. Think about it this way. If someone offered to sell you a $30,000 car for $500 a month, that sounds manageable. But if they spread those payments over a much longer loan, the monthly number can look nice, while the total amount you repay becomes much larger. The monthly payment is basically the magician's hand waving around while the other numbers are doing something interesting behind the curtain. So before you go anywhere near the dealership, decide what you are willing to pay. Start with the car itself. Research the exact make, model, year, trim, mileage, and condition you're looking for. Then compare similar vehicles so you have an idea of what the market price actually looks like. Do not walk in thinking, "I have $500 a month." Walk in thinking, "I am willing to pay up to X dollars for this vehicle." Then separate the price of the car from the cost of financing it. Those are two different decisions. You can negotiate the vehicle price and then compare financing options separately. If the dealer offers you a lower monthly payment by extending the loan, that doesn't mean you got a better deal. You may simply have agreed to pay for the car for longer. Next, ask for the out-the-door price. This is one of the most important numbers in the entire transaction because it is much closer to what the vehicle will actually cost you after the relevant taxes and fees. Don't let a $29,999 advertised price distract you if the final paperwork says something very different. And get that figure in writing. You want to be able to compare the same number with another dealership instead of comparing one dealer's advertised price with another dealer's monthly payment. There's also one more thing you should do before you start negotiating. Be willing to leave. That sounds simple, but it changes everything. If you become emotionally attached to one specific car, you become much easier to pressure. There will always be another car. There will not always be another opportunity to undo an expensive contract after you've signed it. So take your time. Know the car's market value, know the total price, know the financing terms. And most importantly, remember that the salesperson's job is to sell you the car. Your job is to decide whether the deal is actually worth paying for. Once you've agreed on the car, the next danger is the paperwork. This is where a deal that looked great in the showroom can become much more expensive. So before you sign anything, stop looking at the monthly payment and look at the entire financing agreement. There are four numbers you need to understand. First is the amount financed. This is how much you're actually borrowing after your down payment, and any other amounts are accounted for. Second is the annual percentage rate, or APR. This tells you the costs of borrowing the money and allows you to compare financing offers more meaningfully. Third is the loan term. That's how long you'll be making payments. And fourth is the total amount you'll pay over the life of the loan. That last number is the one people often ignore. Imagine two financing offers for the same car. One gives you a lower monthly payment because the loan lasts longer. The other gives you a higher monthly payment because you pay the loan off sooner. The first offer might feel better when you're sitting at the dealership, but you need to compare the total amount you'll actually repay. A lower monthly payment does not automatically mean a cheaper car. Then look carefully at the paperwork for add-ons. Dealerships may offer products such as extended warranties, service contracts, protection packages, or other optional products. Some might be useful for you, others might not be worth the price. The important thing is that you understand exactly what you're being charged for and whether you actually want it. If someone says, "It's only another $20 a month," don't think about the $20. Ask how much that product costs in total. A $20 monthly add-on over a 5-year loan is $1,200 before considering any other financing effects. Suddenly, that little extra doesn't look quite so little. You should also check whether any fees or products have been added that you weren't expecting. If the numbers don't match what you agreed to, stop. Ask the salesperson to explain every difference before you sign, and don't let the excitement of finally getting the car rush you through the contract. Take the time to read it. If you don't understand a charge, ask. If something isn't what you expected, ask. And if you're still unsure, you can leave and review the paperwork before agreeing to anything. The goal isn't to distrust every dealership, it's to make sure you know exactly what you're paying for, because once you've signed the contract, "I didn't realize that was included," is a very expensive sentence. You have checked the price. You have checked the financing. Now comes the part where people get emotionally attached to the car. You take it for a test drive. The seats feel comfortable. The screen looks amazing. The engine sounds good. And suddenly, you're imagining yourself driving it every day. That is exactly when you need to slow down. A test drive isn't just about whether the car feels nice. It is your chance to look for problems before you agree to own them. Start with the basics. Before driving, walk around the entire car in good daylight. Look for dents, scratches, mismatched paint, cracked lights, damaged wheels, or anything that looks different from the listing or what you were originally shown. Then check the tires. Look for uneven wear and make sure the tread is in reasonable condition. A car can look perfect from 10 feet away while quietly needing 4 new tires. Inside the car, test everything you expect to use. Turn on the air conditioning, try the heating, check the windows, mirrors, lights, cameras, parking sensors, infotainment system, and any other important features. Do not be embarrassed to sit there pressing buttons. You are potentially spending tens of thousands of dollars. This is not the time to be polite about the heated seats. Then take the car onto different types of roads, if the test drive allows it. Drive slowly through a parking area. Drive at normal road speeds. Pay attention to how the steering feels, how the brakes respond, and whether you notice unusual noises, vibrations, or warning lights. And if you are buying a used car, get an independent inspection before committing if practical. The important word is independent. You want someone whose job is to assess the vehicle, not someone who makes money from completing the sale. Also check the vehicle's history and paperwork. Make sure the VIN matches the documentation and the vehicle you're actually looking at. Check the mileage. Look into accident or damage history where reliable records are available. And if the seller cannot clearly explain something important about the car, don't simply ignore it because you like the vehicle. A good deal should still make sense when you start asking questions. Finally, remember this. You are allowed to walk away after the test drive. You don't owe the salesperson a purchase because you spent 20 minutes driving the car. If the car has problems, the price doesn't make sense, or something about the deal feels wrong, leave. There will always be another car. The expensive mistake is convincing yourself that there won't be. Before you sign, stop and go through the deal one final time. You should be able to answer 5 questions without guessing. First, what is the exact out-the-door price? Second, how much am I financing? Third, what is the APR and how long is the loan? Fourth, how much will I pay in total by the time the loan is finished? Fifth, have any optional products or fees been added that I did not ask for? If you cannot answer one of those questions, you are not ready to sign. Then take the contract and compare it with the numbers you originally agreed to. If the price changed, ask why. If the interest rate changed, ask why. If an extra product appeared, ask what it is and whether you actually want it. And if someone says, it is only another $15 a month, do the math. Ask what that $15 becomes over the entire loan, because that is the trick with car buying. Almost everything sounds small when you divide it by enough months. The final step is simple. Be willing to walk away. You do not need to buy the car just because you test drove it. You do not need to accept the financing just because the salesperson says it is the best they can do. And you definitely do not need to make a decision because someone tells you the offer expires today. Take the numbers home, compare them, think about them, then decide. Because getting a good car deal is not about being the smartest person in the dealership. It is about knowing your numbers, refusing to negotiate only on the monthly payment, checking the contract, and being comfortable saying no. The best deal is not the one that gets you into the driver's seat fastest. It is the one you can still feel good about paying for months after the excitement of the new car disappears.